Welcome, everybody, to the Eric and Linda live show here on Tuesday at 6 o'clock. I'm Eric.
And I'm Linda. Again, welcome. We got a great show today. I'm excited about this guest. Let me tell you a little bit about WorkVine. WorkVine is a co-working facility located out here in Tracy, California. And we do co-working. We do space. And so in our pivot, we ran across a really good producer named Shell T, and she helped us spice up our live shows. And so in 2020 we started, then 2021 we are doing something different with commercials and everything. So we're excited about this show, and we hope that you guys get a lot from our show as well. And in our show, we are doing a numbers game. Our numbers game it's called Numbers Up. And you pick a number between 1 and 50. And it's in the post right there. Don't want to go over the number. You want to stay under the number that I picked. And I'm going to be using my little
bingo
number
thingy.
Yeah, that's it. But you have to be present to win. Last week we didn't have a winner. So our prize went up to $20. It's normally just $10 Amazon gift card. And this week it's $20. So play the game. I'll announce when to put in your numbers, and then during the end of the show I'll announce the number and pick a winner.
And I'm going to put the number up game instructions in the chat. So for those of you who don't know or come on late, the number up game instructions are in the chat. And good luck. How about that?
Yeah. So, like I said, we have a phenomenal entrepreneur. He created something really cool, and I can't wait to hear more about it. And actually, I need to purchase one of these too. So
I think we are going to purchase one for sure. Because I today cut into an apple and it was all jacked up, but I was putting it into the to our machine to crush it up, blender to juice it, but I just felt it and it just didn't feel good, but I juiced it anyway. So
no wonder it tasted kind of funny.
Well, it was vegetables. So it was good. It was fruit. Last week we talked a little bit about Easter and talked about food, and some of you who are out there viewing are like, I'm hungry, you're making me hungry. And we talked about what are you going to eat for Easter. It was a celebration. We got a chance to spend have a small Easter celebration with some family, but we did have some good food, and I ate quite a bit.
You barbecued.
And I think just from talking about all the food made me so hungry that I really overdid it. I just admit it, because my stomach was aching afterwards.
Yeah, but you actually barbecued 4 slabs of ribs?
No, there were 6 slabs of ribs.
6?
Yeah, 6 slabs of ribs, chicken. But it was good. I can definitely say that.
Yep, it was good. And our lemon cake that we had that I won at an auction.
Oh yeah, let me tell you guys about this.
That's good.
Oh, this cake that my wife bought that I've never had a cake that cost $200.
No, it wasn't.
But it was $170 on the cake.
But it was for a good cause.
It was for a good cause, but I was like, my goodness, $200 for a cake. This cake better be really, really good.
And it was.
And it was. It was a lemon cake. And I'm not even a lemon person, but it was a great cake. So, yeah.
You're funny.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So, yeah, I'm trying to look here at my computer. I can't see it much, but yeah. Any thoughts or anything for today?
Are you talking to me? Okay.
No. I'm talking to that guy.
I just am thankful that, we were able to see Easter. Easter last year was totally different. And it was kind of different this year too. But we got to actually spend Easter with a small amount of people, which was nice to have some type of human interaction. Last year we were all, we were at home.
Yeah.
Like most people. So
yeah, it was definitely a blessing to be able to share with a small group of family, and most of us had our COVID shots. So, we still masked up and we still stayed distance, and we were outside. For all of
yes,
those who may be wondering, we kept it safe.
we did.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. So, I was going to share something that I heard earlier today. And I used to work probation. I worked juvenile hall, and I always used to tell when I worked with juveniles, I always used to tell them that your past doesn't dictate your future. And when I heard that today, it made me think about a lot of those young people that I work with. And it made me also think about a good friend of mine who called me the other day and was saying that he ran across one of the kids that was going to the penitentiary for a long time, and he was doing really well, and he was excited that we planted seeds of opportunity to give him hope, and it changed the whole direction of his life. And so I just wanted to say that to some of you who may be viewing out there, that your past doesn't dictate your future. So know that, and remember, like, we all make mistakes. We all, fall short at some point, but your past does not dictate your future. So we're going to be bringing up our guests right after this. Any last comments? Numbers Up game. Make
Yes.
sure you guys are ready for the Numbers Up game that'll be coming. Check the chat, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back. We're back. We're going to be bringing on our special guest. Man, this guy is an entrepreneur. He's done some wonderful things and is still doing some great things. I think you guys out there are going to be amazed at this product that he's created. I'm amazed, and we already talked about how we're going to purchase it and use it. And I mean, it's going to add some value to your life. And we want to welcome our entrepreneur, Duncan Burns. Hey,
Hey, hi, Duncan.
how are
Hi.
you?
Good to see you folks.
Yeah, good to see you. Yeah, so Veggie Dome, right?
Mhm.
Just give us a little bit of history about yourself.
Yes.
Okay, I'll talk to you a little bit about myself. That my background really is that I was in film in Hollywood for a long time as an editor, and would work on many different features and some TV shows. And that was for quite some time. And then I got married and had some kids, and realized that I was spending a lot of time in the editing room, that my kids would come home from school, and I wanted them to have something healthy to eat. Kids, when they get home, anything that's on the table, it's fair game, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to have fresh fruit and fresh vegetables available so they could grab them and eat them. And it would be, healthy for their bodies. A lot of times when they eat just crackers, they finish up the box, and 5 minutes later, they're hungry again. So this was something that I wanted to develop. And I thought about the Veggie Dome. And what happens with the Veggie Dome is it's like a cookie jar as you could see, like a cookie jar for veggies. And it really turned out to be worked out better than I ever thought. Now, the background is I'm the dad who brought 7 8-year-old boys to a bowling alley and brought bag of vegetables for them to eat. And I put it on the table at the bowling alley. And everybody else is eating all this other stuff. And the bowling alley people didn't really mind because I wasn't competing with their pizza and their soda or whatever. And the kids gobbled it up and they were all happy. And it was like, you know what? If you put vegetables in front of people, they end up eating it. And so it's not like, well, they'd rather do it or rather not. It just has to be there. You have to see food and eat it.
Yeah.
And so I thought, how can I make it so that these vegetables can stay fresh, at least throughout the day? And I thought back when I was a kid, my brother and I built a greenhouse out of old pieces of a greenhouse that was getting torn down a couple blocks away. Big greenhouse was getting torn down. We put all these pieces on a station wagon of my dad's, and we made like a small greenhouse. And my brother was older than me. He knew more about this stuff. And we grew what's known as orchids and bromeliads. And orchids grow in the jungles. And they actually grab onto the bark of the tree and they hang. And that's how they live. And then they blossom and they grow. And I said to my brother, well, how are they drinking water if the roots are busy holding on to the bark? He said, they drink water from the air through their leaves. So fast forward 30 years later, when I'm trying to make it so that the Veggie would be something that would keep vegetables, and I made this device, and you can see it on screen there. And the interesting thing is the dome itself, when it's closed, it keeps the moisture of the vegetables in there, and they drink the water from the air through their leaves, just like the orchids did. But if you also look at that graphic that's up there, you'll see that there's like the lid. So the lid was there. I made it so that my kids could just reach in and grab some vegetables if they wanted to.
Nice.
Okay? But it turned out that the vegetables also emit something called ethylene gas. And the ethylene gas makes them grow, but it also makes them spoil. And as you can see, that lid, which just sits on top of there, it allowed the ethylene gas to escape. Just like helium floats a balloon, well, ethylene also is lighter than air, so it leaks out the top when the water vapor actually stays down below because it's heavier. So it's so I mean, if somebody had said to me, make an invention that lets one gas that you don't want, the ethylene gas, escape, but the gas you want, which is, and both of these are coming from the plants. So the ethylene comes from the plant, but also the water vapor. So that's what really happened was I completely invented this by accident.
Yeah, because that was the question I was going to ask. Like, did
go ahead.
you go and say, okay, let me see here. This needs this needs that. Well, we need to release this, right? I mean, you weren't a scientist or anything.
Right. I grew up in a household that had a lot of scientists in it, but I was a film editor. I was the guy who didn't do the science as much.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I knew that the water vapor would stay inside just because it's like a bowl that, it keeps the moisture inside and it is enough. It's an amazing thing I found out. I kept on, when I started off, adding a lot of water to it because, rainforests and water the plants, Actually, if you just put the vegetables in themselves, they have so much water in them that they make the exact amount of water that they need to live on. So that was really cool. Just discovered it.
Yeah, it's like when you were explaining this, it like brought me back to school, listening to like those science films, or even like when my kids were growing up, Bill the Science Guy.
Yeah.
And like I didn't realize that a lot of science came into the Veggie Dome. Like this is really like new technology into,
I call it life technology. It's something that really turned out to be just a balance of nature, that I allowed the plant's nature to let them stay alive on your table, and the ethylene gas that would normally make them grow and spoil just happened to leak out. Why? Because I made it into a cookie jar lid.
Yes.
I want my kids to reach in.
How cool is that?
Like Eric Faltz, he said he learned something new today. I learned really something new today. And all this from like an orchid. Like you learned, like that's where the thought probably started, was like, hey, if this orchid could live like this, and and that's how creation starts. It starts with an idea. And the great thing about it is that you took your idea from here to here, and so a lot of people, they die with all, like, there's so many dead ideas in the
Yeah.
cemetery because people don't do anything about it. But you did something about it, and that's really amazing.
Yeah, I messed around in the kitchen with different bowls and lasagna dishes, and so I came up with something. But you know what? When I first had it, was a bowl upside down, and the kids would lift it up, and all the vegetables would spill out. As you can see there, they would all kind of just tumble out onto the table. So it would work for once. That's why I made it into a cookie jar so they could reach in and put the lid back on. And so then it became this other invention that I just feel kind of blessed that it just was something that I saw happen. So that's how the Veggie Dome started.
I just have a quick question.
Yeah.
Like when you were practicing with the bowls and the stuff like that, like what was your wife saying? Was your wife like what? I just want to know what she was saying.
Well, actually, I wash most of the dishes at my household. So I was able to do that. That was within my wheelhouse that I could mess around with the dishes. And I also knew where they were, But another interesting thing that was very fortunate was that I was reading a book at about the same time. Now, this is really kind of an interesting serendipity, is that the book was called The China Study. It was a nutrition study that was one of the most expansive studies on the world has ever had. And they took 6,500 villages in China, and they tried to figure out, well, what do each village eat? And it was back in a time when people weren't moving around to villages too much. So each village had its own kind of culture. And they found out that the ones were eating mostly vegetables were the ones that were really, really healthy. So here I am devising something for my kids to eat vegetables on the table. At the same time, I'm provided by the universe this book that says, by the way, they're really good for you.
Wow. That's some really cool stuff. I think, when we come back, we want to talk about like the health benefits, right?
Okay, yeah.
And because like you said, you see it, you eat it, and how the Veggie Dome can give you all those health benefits for your kids.
And it's just an amazing thing that your body can really be healthy by you give it the ingredients from nature, like plants and fruit, that actually help your body's looking for those good things. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
We're going to get more into it after this commercial.
Thank you.
All the way up, turn it all the way up to the max. All the way up, turn it all the way up. All the way up, turn it all the way up. All the way up, turn it all the way up. And tell him the brother calm down. Calm down. And fit a square with a round hole. Cause every time that I come around, I turn it as loud as it go. Sipping the rock, pink collide, or give me the lime. Ready or not, give me a sign if you want me to stop. Giving it to you a cappella, the music will drop. One at a time, singing a rhyme on the drop of a dime. It's got time to shine, baby. I'ma break it down until it's liquid. Turn up, stir it up, call it biscuit. Hold up, I'm turned to the max. So loud, I got a deaf mute in the back. I'm not gonna do what it does. The first time that you watch the names on the track. All the way up, turn it all.
I love that commercial.
Yeah, I do too. I'm gonna relax because I get so hyped up about that one. I don't know. It's just something about it. Kind of does something to me.
When it's up, it's up. When it's up.
Okay. Yeah, that was cool.
Anyways, we're here with Duncan Burns. He's the creator of Veggie Dome. And so we want to hear more about the health benefits that this Veggie Dome has for you.
Well, great. What happens is you're able to let's say on a Sunday afternoon, you wash a whole bunch of vegetables like celery sticks and carrot sticks, and you chop off whatever you're not going to eat, like the stems or the roots or something like that. And you've rinsed them off, and you can put in beans, like green beans and radishes and, things like, if you're going to put cucumber in, you probably still want to have the peel on, but you can cut it into a couple pieces, pretty much large pieces of vegetables on a Sunday afternoon, just like you see on the picture there. What happens is then, and this one is, you can see the whole vegetables in there, but you can load it up, as you can see in the picture behind me, by Sunday afternoon, put it in. Maybe Monday, you're going off to work, you grab a couple, put in your bag and go, and then you come back from home for a day of work, and you may be cooking dinner or something. You can grab some things out of the veggie dome, or you can cut them into your salad. Sometimes you can just eat while you're waiting for the pasta to get ready or whatever. But then you end up seeing and eating your vegetables a lot more than if they're hidden in the refrigerator in the dark.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought. When you said out on the counter, I was thinking, like, if I had to open the refrigerator, get some celery out, put it in the Ziploc, put it in the backpack, that's just too much work for me.
Exactly. That's
For a vegetable.
Yep.
But
So you want to have a carrot stick for a snack. You're not going to go to the refrigerator and get out the bag of carrots and pull out one carrot. And what happens is you take that entire bag. You can take it out of the fridge, or you just, when you came from the store, wash them all off, 9 or 10 carrots, trim off the heads a little bit, put them in there. And then for the next 3 or 4 days, you got a carrot stick in anytime you want it. So it's more efficient that way. And also, you see food, you eat it.
Yeah. I've been on that diet.
I know you said you were going to do something, but I'm going to put this in the chat right now for those of you who want to purchase that veggie dome. Duncan is also giving some perks. So I'm going to just put that in the chat for you guys early, and we'll talk about the perks that you're going to do. It's a discount. It's a code there, and there's also the link. But
we made a special discount for the people on this show. Yeah.
Cool.
Yes. So you know what is another benefit too? This is what I always do when I'm getting ready to cook dinner and I want to know what's at home for vegetables, and I'm steady calling and I'm like, hey, can you tell me if we have any onions or if we have any, and then they're like, oh, Mom, and they're going downstairs and they got to open the fridge and they got to open the drawer and then they got to sift through all the, bags, plastic bags that we have on there. And, this makes it so easy because they could just look downstairs and be like, oh, no, we don't have that.
Yeah. Very much so. You can glance over your shoulder. You can go, oh, it looks like I got carrots. I don't need to buy any carrots, but the celery's gone. Right. And one thing that's been described to my veggie dome by people who have been really happy with when they buy it is, just think about it. It's the vegetables that you're going to be eating tomorrow and the next couple of days. And yeah, if you don't eat them for 5 or 6 days, they're still fresh. But the idea is this. I put in a bunch of radishes once, and I thought, I don't eat radishes much. I'll put a couple in. They were gone that day. So I thought, okay, I'll put more radishes in. But then I see there was some maybe Persian cucumbers in there, and nobody was really eating. Guess who eats them when nobody eats them? Dad. But what happens is, then I realized don't buy so many of these. So it becomes your palate for how you have food around. And instead of having it hidden in the fridge, you have a more sense of what you're doing. There's a good example right there. You can see celery sticks and carrot, and you can put a whole head of lettuce in there if you want. You rinse it off as much as you can, especially the outer leaves. And one thing that I do with lettuce is that I'll take off the outer leaves and I'll wash them off, and I'll put those in a salad right away. But the inner leaves, I'll trim off the stem a little bit, rinse it off as much as I can, and put the whole thing in. I end up eating the big leaves first, but the inner leaves are in there, and you can have lettuce in there for 2 or 3 weeks sometimes. If you're doing it wrong, you should be eating your veggies.
Yeah.
So the idea with that is, I don't throw any lettuce away. I have a system that I don't end up throwing any lettuce away, where that's something that a lot of people throw sometimes as much as 50% of their lettuce away. And that's money. Yeah. We're paying $2 for a head of lettuce nowadays.
That's really good. I mean, it allows you to eat healthier, maybe lose a little weight, right? I mean, there's so many benefits. I mean, if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, definitely can help improve some of those things by eating more vegetables.
And that's actually one thing that I learned from that book, The China Study, that really your body is so amazing that when you do put in some of these good things, you can reverse diabetes. You can reverse some of the heart disease if you go towards eating a lot more vegetables.
Wow.
I have a question too about, since we're on vegetable topic, or is it a fruit? Maybe it's a fruit because it has a seed. But you know how like avocados, they turn brown really quick, or even bananas or apples, like if you cut them up. How does that work with the veggie dome?
Well, it really does. Think about it as this really gentle environment inside. It's really moist inside, and there's not a lot of wind going around because it's like a guard for it. So that if you do cut an avocado and put it into the veggie dome, I've had them before. And if you leave the seed in, that's one of the tricks. But actually, the next day, it still doesn't really turn that brown. Whereas you put it in the refrigerator, it pretty much turns brown. You have to cut it at least a third of an inch off of it, but you're not wasting as much food because you're seeing it. Also, you were saying an apple, it'll turn a little bit brown, but not quite as fast and not as much as if you just put it on the table. So it's good for ripening tomatoes. It's good for ripening. Even you can put strawberries. Nowadays, you're trying to buy strawberries. They're only pink and almost white. They pick them so young and not ripe. Put them in the veggie. You wash them off. Put them in the veggie dome. And you have to keep an eye on them, though. You got to eat them in a couple of days. But they turn red just like they're ripening out in the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So the veggie dome pretty much pays for itself.
It does. If you actively use it, my veggie domes, I actively use them. Whatever I put in there, I eat up. And it's part of my, I'm gonna put this in here. I'm gonna eat it up. And then you walk by that carrot 15 times. Oh yeah, gotta eat that guy.
Yeah, no. If you see it, you'll eat it. Like you said, the seafood diet.
Yeah. So it's been a struggle as an entrepreneur, but I feel like at least I have something that I believe that if I sell it to somebody, it's going to be good in their household. Yeah. They will eat more vegetables because it's part of their lifestyle now.
We're going to go to commercial right now,
okay.
But when we come back, let's talk about the business aspect of, how to get something that you create started and what you did as an entrepreneur to get maybe funding or even patent. We can even talk about how you got it trademarked and patented and all that stuff. So stay tuned to hear more about this veggie dome, and maybe there's some questions out there from the audience that may
Super.
have.
Sounds great.
Oh, and don't forget the numbers game. We're gonna play the numbers game now. So put in your number 1 through 50. The directions or the instructions are right there. Actually it says $10, but this week it's $20.
$20 Amazon card. Start putting your numbers in for the numbers up game.
Yes.
All right, we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Hey, welcome back. We're here again with Duncan Burns talking about the Veggie Dome. For you listeners out there, we're talking about, now we're going to go into the business aspect about it. I want to give a shout out to you. You're doing really well on the, he's doing all the commercials. And,
you just don't know what's going on in my brain right now. It's like,
but good job, honey. Good job.
Live.
So let's talk about how could somebody start a business like how you created something.
Well, I think that one thing that I've really found, I mean, the basic thing that I want to get across is that it does take a little more time, and so that if you have some sort of let's say you've got some income or some job that you've got, don't quit your job right away. Because I thought, okay, I have this idea, and with the fact that I had made this kind of cookie jar lid, it actually made the dome part have a hole in the top and the bottom, became a proprietary shape. I was able to patent it because the shape was something that I'd done. Let me tell you, glass makers don't like making things that have a hole in the top and the bottom because glass will collapse if it's molten. So I had to make it I had to cut the glass. So getting back to the company aspect of it, I thought, oh, good, I patented it. In a couple months, I'll get my business going. In 6 months, I'll be able to get it going. Now, this is 4 years later, and I've been really blessed that I've been able to have this one thing that keeps my bread and butter paid for, while I'm also working literally almost every day. There's something that I'm working on with my company, and the idea is you do want to patent it. And I've found through the patent offices that they send your idea and the form. It allows you to have, I don't remember how long it was, for almost a year, that you already kind of have it patented. It's a temporary patent that they give you right away. So don't hesitate and think, oh, I have to have this and that. Actually, go ahead and try to get that thing filed, because they do give you a sense of, okay, at least I've secured the idea for a year. When that year comes by, you have to then make it more final. But at least you have, as a beginner, that start. And one thing that I was really told by my patent attorney, now if it's something like I've got an actual housewares, I've got a thing that sits on a counter that you buy. If you make the design with somebody who can do a CAD drawing, that it's a good idea. Now, to make the easiest patent is a design patent, and that's really great because you draw it exactly the way you're going to make it. The only problem with a design patent is somebody can look at it and change it a little bit, and they can kind of work around your design and still kind of come up with the concept. And my patent attorney was really brilliant in that he said, make 3 design patents: the one that you actually have, and then ones that are close by that are, let's say, a little more round or a little more square. And so those 3 design patents are actually protect you in that space. Now, that's not a win-all patent type of thing, but making those 3 design patents made me feel a lot better, and I was able to move forward and talk to investors and make the product.
That's really good. It kind of secures you a little bit, because the
Right.
big guys,
We'll eat you up.
they
Yeah.
see that, and then they come and knock you off and make millions of them at a time and send them all around the country. And so, yeah, that was a really brilliant idea. So when we talk about, once you had this design and you had the patent, how do you find manufacturers to be able to create this product?
Well, that's one thing that also people will tell you, oh, you shouldn't do it this way or you shouldn't do it that way. I think that a lot of those people don't end up doing anything because they're so frightened of doing it the wrong way. I Googled this idea of manufacturer, and I found a place, global, I forgot what it was, something global. And I was able to look through a catalog of all these different, what they call suppliers. That's what manufacturers are also called. And the suppliers were competing for you. They want your, business. And so it was a situation where all I'm doing is sending an email to somebody. And you could think of, oh, people get ripped off all the time. I found that the person, the group that I communicated with, and it was, again, they could have, it was in China. They could have taken the design and done something. The only thing is, with my design, I was protected by the fact was like they can make one, but they don't really know what it's for. So they can make it, but they're going to have to come up with all the marketing to try to sell it. So you're protected by the fact that, you know what, that maybe people will try to take your idea, but you know what, generally only after you're making a lot of money on it. If people see that a lot of people buying it, that's when they're copying it. But you're beginning, don't feel like you need to protect yourself. I mean, obviously making a patent and also trademarking your logo and your name. Those are all things you have to do. And an investor won't look at you very seriously if you haven't done that. But then also don't be so frightened that people are going to rip your ideas off, because when you're starting off, people aren't necessarily going to be stealing your idea, because you're not really showing that everybody else wants to buy it either.
Yeah.
So
question here. How did you get the money to create that product? I mean, did you just have a bunch of money sitting around?
Interesting. This is a good comment for people who are looking for investors, at least in the beginning. And this is not necessarily the answer they want to get, but that's life sometimes. Is that I was at an accelerator for a long time here in Santa Monica, and I probably pitched it 30 times to different investors. And I was very disappointed with a lot of the investors, because they weren't seeing the value of, literally, I'm going to be changing the landscape of the kitchen. I'm going to be putting food where people aren't putting it right now, which is on the table, and vegetables are going to be more available to families who are active. And I get emails all the time from moms going, God, my kids are just gobbling it up from the Veggie-Dome. I hear the clinking noise and I'm happy. Okay, so the investors aren't seeing that, or they aren't envisioning how it really is a positive thing. I would have fired them. I would have fired these investors. They're not going to be making money. And I'm wondering how much money some of these guys really are. So I ended up almost giving up. I went to the library, and sometimes in the library, there are these old books that they're barely checking out. I found one called Investments in Your Backyard, or something like that, From Your Backyard. And what it came down to is, you go to people that you know and know you, and you can reach out to them. And I reached out to a friend of mine who was so close, but I hadn't been in touch with him for years. And this is from 10 years that I really haven't been in touch with each other. I give him a call, and yes, he's a surgeon. Yes, he had money, but you know what happened? He just said, how much do you want? And then I was able to make my patents and put things in place. So you go to what, investors call friends and family, but you actually have to give it some thought. Maybe it's people that you went to high school with a long time ago. Reach out to them. And so it's investors in your backyard. I don't know if that's the name of it. But I tell you, I checked out the book from the library, and I returned it to the library. And the library then, it was such an old book that they actually threw it out after I checked it out. It was just me that I just happened to walk by and check it out. Wow. So and you know what? You can't put yourself down if you've gotten money from friends and family. That's called, and investors that I'm talking to right now that I'm further along, they go, okay, well, what about your friends and family round? It's like accepted that you will. And you know what? If your friends and family aren't going to be putting money into it, or if they do, that's a vote in your favor by people that know you. Yeah. And then the investor looks at it and goes, okay, well, at least his family trusts him, or his friends. So there's a little bit of a nugget there for you. Don't think that close is bad. Actually, close is good.
So go after that friends and family for your first round.
Yeah.
What about crowdfunding? I know you did a little bit of logo. How did that go? Can you share a little bit about that?
I was in an accelerator, as I told you, and I was trying to pitch to these individual investors, and nobody was biting. They all wanted to go for the digital unicorn, and which is fine. I'm in Santa Monica, so they call it Silicon Beach, right? And here I am, the guy trying to sell a salad bowl that looks weird. The person who I really respect was at this expert dojo, it's called. He said, do a crowdfund, and you can do it from our offices here. I did an Indiegogo. There are other types of crowdfunding ones, and it is a really difficult time. You have to call. His regimen was call literally 30 people a day. Just like that's what you're doing. You're calling him, telling him about that you're going to be doing this crowd raise, and you do it obviously a few weeks or a month before it's even started. So you're ramping up and you're getting more active as you get there. I tell you, these 45 days were probably the most difficult 45 days of my life. You're always waking up going, what am I doing? Who am I not talking to? And you do want to work with a group of people. But this is one thing that he did that was brilliant. Was he said, put an event on, like a party, okay? And at the party, have a couple tables in a row and some, people talking about things that you care about. These are people about sustainable architecture or about healthy diets. These are people that I got at the table and that I respected. And in the evening, where I was the one sponsoring this party, right? It became like a TED Talk almost. And guess what? All these people became closer in my world. They became relationships that I was able to then talk to and nourish as I was growing as a small company. From this one party, we got a lot of shots and pictures about the Veggie Dome sponsoring this good event. And guess what? That was content that went up onto our Indiegogo. So this party served many purposes, and it was something where it really showed the integrity of my company because I cared about these individuals who were leaders in their community. So there's another nugget.
That's a great story. I know that this is going to really help some of those innovators out there, the entrepreneurs that are looking to start something. And we talk about this all the time. You have this idea, and you don't know where to start, but you have to start somewhere. And you said it, you didn't give up. You were almost there, right? And we talk about this just about every show where people say, I didn't give up. I just kept kind of moving on. And that was great. So before we go, I want you to tell the listeners out there what you're doing for Workvine 209 when they purchase the Veggie Dome.
Well, so we want you guys to have Veggie Domes also. So we make a $15 discount, and the code is Workvine 209, just like you're seeing it going across the screen there without the at. But anyway, Workvine 209, and you go to veggiedome.com. And I think that it's possibly with my name. We had it on the chat box, but how can we have the name? Oh, there you go. Veggiedome. It's over my shoulder here. Veggiedome.com, VEGGIDOME. And what happens is you go on there to the buy page and put Workvine 209, and you'll get $15 off from the it's mailed to you for free. So there's no shipping costs or anything like that. And we really do want to have more of these in people's homes because it does help you eat vegetables on a daily basis. And gosh, your body really does appreciate it.
Yeah, and and it's a safe seafood diet. Yeah. Right?
There you go. Exactly. You seafood and you end up eating vegetables. Let me tell you, you eat the one thing that I say when people start off with their Veggie Dome, they should fill it up like you've seen pictures of it there. You put carrot sticks and celery sticks in, and before you walk away, eat one right away. Go ahead, get in there, and you know what happens? It programs your body to know, oh yeah, that's where food is, and you end up eating from it. And if you have an active household, you'll see it gets gobbled up every couple of days. You got to be filling up your Veggie Dome again. And it's really something that's good for your body.
Yes. I want to say thank you so much for being on our show.
Yes.
And, you provided so much great information, not only for me, but for our listeners.
Yeah.
And I'm inspired to get back on that seafood diet. I've been saying that a lot.
Yeah. Well.
I want to start eating more vegetables, and I think this is the way to go. So remember, it's all in the chat. If you guys Eric, can you
Yeah.
buy me a veggie dome?
Sure. We're going to go online and buy one today.
Don't forget to
Yeah.
put in the discount code.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The discount code.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, use the discount, and it really makes a difference when you eat good food, vegetables and fruit. Your body
Thanks.
will appreciate it.
Thank you, Duncan, man. We really appreciate you for being a part of our show and sharing. Really appreciate it. Thanks for this for the discount code.
Yes.
Well, I really like working with you guys, and I think you've got a great show.
Thank
Yes. Well, you know what? We'll keep in touch
you.
because,
Definitely.
you know,
Maybe we're on.
entrepreneurs need to stick together.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Here we go.
Very good.
Oh, we got another
Oh, yeah.
buyer.
Don't forget to put in your numbers. And we will be announcing the numbers up game winner. I'll pick the number when we get back from commercial. So we'll see you right back.
All right.
Welcome to the House of Worship Funny Friday Nights. That's right, every Friday night at 7 p.m., you'll get amazing comedians, phenomenal musical guests, and where God gets all the glory. It's fun for the entire family, and the tickets are only $10. So purchase your tickets at www.how-2018.org. Then stream it into your living room from Facebook or YouTube. See you at the House of Worship, Funny Friday Nights, where laughter is medicine and God gets all the glory.
Welcome back, everyone. We just had Duncan Burns on our show, and we talked about the veggie dome. I'm hungry. I need to eat.
Some vegetables.
Yeah, and I was thinking a veggie burger, but anyways,
Yeah.
and I think I spoke too soon, but all this clicking around on the on the StreamYard. Okay,
Yes.
Shelty, I think we need to talk after this. But anyways, let me pick this number.
All right, we're gonna pick the number for the numbers up game. Here we go.
Okay,
And our number
is 37.
37, and it looks like the winner is Bill Leach. Is there any more numbers out there? I'm scrolling, I'm looking, and it looks like they went over. Bill Leach is
You
the
won.
winner.
All right,
I hope you're still
Bill.
on, Bill. You need to let us know if you're still on, because if you don't, then we have to go to the
Bill is
The
Bill
winner.
is there. Bill is there.
All right.
We will honor
Yeah.
Bill. But
Yes.
anyhow, that was a good show. I learned
Yeah, it
so
was.
much.
It was. I learned a lot too, and it really made me start even feeling like, wow, once we get the veggie dome, yep, he is there. There he is. The winner. Look at that classy guy right there. All right. Yeah. I mean, it just made me think, like, how many times we come home, you're a little hungry, and you go right to the pantry, and then you get some cookies or some potato chips, and it's not as healthy as maybe grabbing a piece of fruit or grabbing a piece of vegetable and snacking on. I have high blood pressure, so I think having something like that around will definitely help me and benefit me for health purposes.
Yeah, and he said it lowers the numbers on diabetes too. So eating more vegetables, and it's good fiber. It
Yeah.
definitely puts you in a better mood when you have more fiber in your life, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there it is. It'll probably definitely have you going to the
Regularly,
bathroom
right? Yeah, that's,
I don't have that problem, but I might be
that's
going a
too
lot
much
more.
information.
Man, it's crazy stuff. Maybe I don't need that many vegetables. Yeah, but
Just
hey,
warn
this
you,
is
just
great
warn you.
though. Yeah, this was great. This is a great invention by Duncan Burns. I think it'll definitely help a lot of people. And yeah, thank you, Duncan, again for just being a part of our show and sharing. For you entrepreneurs out there, he said it again: don't give up. Keep hanging in there, and he also gave some tips on getting some money, getting some funding. Go after your first round for your parents or your family and help. He also did an Indiegogo campaign, and so I think having that group of people around you, a good influence, will be really great. Yes,
Yeah,
vegetables.
we actually went to family as well. Like I asked my dad and people to help, get Workvine started, and you know, um, he helped out, and so it probably won't be the last time I ask him for help, right? And so then now my phone's probably gonna ring, and my kids are gonna ask me, "Hey, mom, do you
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
invest in my?"
yeah.
And I will definitely. So if my kids call me and ask me to help them start a business, I will definitely um, think about it and help them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. That's what it's all about. That's what we're doing here is really trying to plant seeds and help those of you who are in the entrepreneur space or even have a business or looking for different ideas and um, just getting educated. However, we can help. Tell us who you want to see on the show, what types of uh, entrepreneurs or startup companies you want to see on the show to be a part so that you can learn and get a little more valuable information to help maybe spark that idea, spark that business, and take it to that next level.
What I learned too with Duncan is that he was solving a problem.
Yeah, it's
That's
really good.
that's where it started. He was solving a problem of wanting to have his kids eat more vegetables,
Yeah,
and then the ideas started flowing, and then he thought back about this orchid that was growing, and so he took that concept and turned it into science and created a a veggie dome. And so it took a few tries. He was in the kitchen trying different things. And
yeah.
sometimes that's what it takes you to go into, um, your garage or your kitchen and, you know,
Get
fiddle
creative.
around with things to create something.
Yeah,
And it didn't happen right away. Like it took time. And I think he said 4 years. And, um, a lot of times entrepreneurs want things to happen really quickly,
yeah.
and it doesn't normally take, that.
Doesn't happen
Yeah, it
overnight.
doesn't happen overnight,
Yeah,
and it takes a lot of thought and a lot of time. He also said, "Don't quit your day job." When you're in your creative moment and you're starting something and from scratch, you still probably want to keep your day job, so that maybe your day job could help you fund your new idea or at least pay the bills,
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Because you still need to survive, you
Yeah,
still need to eat, you still need to have a roof over your head. So don't quit your day job. So it's a lot of things that I've learned just by, and it's like confirmation too, of what he was talking about. Don't give up. And there's creative ways. Sometimes you need to go to the library,
yeah,
and check out a book, or Google it or something, and read something that can inspire you to
yeah,
find um, different ways to get your business going. Like he
absolutely.
said, he checked out that book, and the investors in the backyard or something like that. And those backyard investors could be family and friends. So
Yeah.
something you
So
wouldn't think of. And then you think like, oh, I can't ask my family and friends, but he did. He went 10 years back and asked, I need to start going through my phone and like going 10 years back and say, what is she doing now? Can I borrow some money from her?
Yeah.
But I have some really good friends too that probably if I asked them, they would invest in me, and I keep in touch with a lot of my friends from high school.
Yeah.
And so actually this cup right here, my girlfriend from high school made it for me. And so she just created this and gave it to me for Christmas. So
Cool.
maybe I'll hit her up and ask her for investing in Workline.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. One other thing I wanted to add, we are doing commercials, right? I hope you guys like our commercials and everything. And so we're also doing some advertising packages for Shell T. Shell T does an excellent job creating our commercials. And so she also does this. These are our plans. And if you want a little more information, you want to market your business on our show, they're very reasonable pricings. And this is another one. So a 3-month contract, you get a little bit more, a little longer term, but it will definitely help. Our numbers are really going up on our show. And so if you're looking for some advertisement, looking to get some commercials created, this is the place. We're not just a show, we're creating commercials and doing marketing for you.
Yeah, she also creates all of our flyers too. Can you pull up Duncan's flyer?
Yeah, there it is right there.
So, she's such a creative woman. I'm blessed to have her in my presence. Thank you, Shelty.
Yes. All right. Well, that is going to do it for our show today. Anything else you might want to add?
No, just have a blessed week. And we'll be back here on Tuesday. We're here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. We changed our times, and somebody was asking me, hey, I went to see your show, but it was at 12 o'clock and you weren't there, but we changed it. We've been at 6
o'clock
this whole year,
6 o'clock.
2021.
It's super late.
Tuesday, 6 p.m.
6 p.m. every Tuesday. Stay tuned. See you next week. All right.